If you had 5,000 kwacha, how would you invest it? Many people think that to start a business, you need a lot of money. Maybe you need 50,000 kwacha, maybe you need 100,000 kwacha, but you can actually start a business with as little as 5,000 kwacha. So if you want to be an entrepreneur, whether as a side hustle or as a main business, worry not, because in this video, we will talk about how you can start a business with 5,000 kwacha. This is Wealth with Safwali Wanchinga, where we discuss practical business insights for Zambia. So let's dive right into the video. The first business that you can start with 5,000 kwacha is a mobile money business. This business is easy to set up because all you need is a phone, basically, which can cost you about 1,000 kwacha. But for a good second-hand phone, you can get a phone for 1,000 kwacha. And then you probably need to arrange for an Airtel money or an MTN money SIM card, which might not cost you more than 200 kwacha. Probably arrange for a chair where you can sit. These days, there's no need for a booth. So you can basically just get a chair for less than 500 kwacha, and you can also maybe have a small table. So in all, the capital that you need is not beyond 1,500 in terms of the equipment, 1,500 to 2,000, and then you can have your float for about 3,000. And there you go, you have your business for 5,000 kwacha, which is an Airtel money booth. Another business you can start with 5,000 kwacha is a barber shop. Many youths or young people who are unemployed and are looking for something to do, and they say it takes a lot to start business. But starting a barber shop is not too difficult, especially if it's within the high density area. One might just need to find a suitable location and pay maybe a month or two worth of rent, which may be, say, 500 per month or even less. And then they need to get the barbing machines. A good barbing machine might only cost about 500 kwacha. So you can get one or two barbing machines, and also a smoother might also just cost about 300 kwacha. So within 2,000, 2,500 to 3,000, one can start a business of a barber shop. The third business that one can start with 5,000 kwacha is food sales. Basically, one can have a small stand, be it at home, might just need a brazier and a bit of charcoal, and on top of that, also have maybe a small table or a stool where to sit, and buy some flour, cooking oil, and start frying fritters or baking scones or something of that nature. That's a business which can be started within 5,000 kwacha, probably around 3,000 kwacha. That should be enough. And what's important is that one is disciplined, and over time, the business will be able to expand. The fourth business that you can start with 5,000 kwacha is that of selling secondhand clothes. That is Salaula business. All this requires is identifying a suitable location where you can set up a stand. You can either do this from home, or you find a place at the market. Usually there is somebody in charge at the market who one would need to speak to in order to be allocated a space, or one can even be mobile for those maybe who are working. The second-hand clothes can be carried in the boot of the vehicle and then sell to workmates and colleagues and so on and so forth. So buying of the bale would usually cost anywhere between 2,000, 3,000, 3,500, depending on the content. So one would basically need to identify a niche, a specific area, a specific type of good which they would want to sell, be it shoes, be it baby clothing, or if it's according to weather, maybe it is things to do with winter, like scarves and so on. So that is a viable business that one can start within 5,000 kwacha. Another business that can be started within 5,000 kwacha is that of selling phone accessories. So one would need to do a bit of research of what are the most common items. And this is not necessarily selling the actual phones, but selling the accessories such as the screen protectors, chargers, charging cables, screen protectors, and so on. So these are items which are regularly bought and have got a good profit margin. And so this is a viable item which one can invest 5,000 kwacha and basically start a business, eventually scale up. The next business that you can start within 5,000 kwacha is that of selling vegetables. I actually had a friend who used to sell vegetables. He would get vegetables from Soweto early in the morning at bulk price and then distribute to different restaurants. So he had a network of restaurants to whom he would make deliveries on a daily basis to these restaurants. And by 9 hours or so, he's done with his work. He can even sort of like move to his second job or his second hustle, because by 9 hours he would have delivered all the vegetables which he bought from Soweto around 05, 06, so on. And that's how he made his money. Within 5,000 kwacha, that is a viable business. It just requires a bit of initiative and being active to order. The seventh business that we can start with 5,000 kwacha is that of disinfecting. Disinfecting cockroaches, disinfecting rats, ants within people's premises, within homes and offices is a very simple business to start, and it's profitable because basically the only item you need is a knapsack, which is the spray which you carry on your back, and then buy some chemicals. Knapsack might not cost you more than 500 kwacha. It's probably 300 and something, 400 and something. And then we have the chemicals, which also would be in the range of 500, 600, somewhere there. So within 1,500, you can have your knapsack and you can have your chemicals. The only other thing you need is water and your energy to basically spray around the house. So you can advertise on Facebook, you can advertise through WhatsApp. And once you get a call, you go and you disinfect the particular premises, and that's a profitable business. The eighth business that one can start with 5,000 kwacha is that of a car wash. Starting a car wash is not very difficult, and in this regard, it is not necessarily the professional car wash, but basically just using a bucket, a sponge, and a bit of a car shampoo and so forth. So one would require approaching an area of business where cars are parked for a relatively long period of time, like at a bar or maybe around the barber shop. So one would basically speak to the owner of the establishment and indicate that they're willing to pay a fee in order to clean cars there. And that would be a start for a car wash business with much less than 5,000 kwacha. That can be done within 2,000 kwacha or less. Even 1,000 kwacha, one can start a car wash business, and then with time eventually try to move to a more permanent location. The ninth business that can be started with 5,000 kwacha is basically doing online business. To do so, one would simply identify any product which they think is selling or is in demand. One can go to a Chinese shop and identify something which is cheap but it's unique, and once it's advertised online on Facebook or through WhatsApp, and when people make orders, then the product is delivered. So that is certainly a viable business that can be started within 5,000 kwacha. It just requires finding something which is unique and attractive. Lastly, the business which can be started within 5,000 kwacha is that of gardening, where one has got access to a piece of land and some water. It is possible to grow some high value crop or some high value vegetables. For example, ginger, garlic, onions, tomatoes. This can be done on a reasonably small piece of land, but it will be able to generate some income which one can eventually scale up to within 5,000 kwacha. All one would need to buy is a bit of seed, some chemicals, and a bit of fertilizer, and you have your business within 5,000 kwacha. So there you have it. These are 10 businesses that you can start in Zambia with 5,000 kwacha capital. So there is always a business that we can do. If you have enjoyed this video, please subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell and like as well. In the next video, we'll be looking at how to start a business with 20,000 kwacha. For those that might have a bit more capital than 5,000, have 20,000, you don't want to miss the next one. Bye for now.